Awesome. So first and foremost, Laura, I just want to thank you for coming on the show. I greatly appreciate it. I know you're very busy. You've got a lot of clients that you're training and so forth. So thank you for your time today.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for the invite. I'm more than excited.
Great. So I kind of just wanted to, give you an opportunity to kind of like introduce yourself, like as far as like what do you do? I know that you're training people, but can you kind of go into that a little bit?
Yes. So I have a personal training studio where I train people one-on-one, and I also do online coaching. So I do, obviously in-person coaching and online. So my clientele, is pretty diverse. I have people that are just wanting to get in shape. Some people that want to lose body fat and build muscle, usually both, hand in hand. And then I have individuals, mostly women, that want to compete. So, it all depends on what people are wanting to do. Some people come in person to train for their show. Some people do it all online. A lot of my clients have never lifted before, and they come to me and I want to do a competition. So everybody wants to do a competition in 3 months, right? But I'm like, no, we have to even learn how to lift first. So I've had some ladies that I took them from day one and taught them how to lift, just like their compound movements, in every detail that comes along with that, as well as nutrition. They come to me eating crap. Yeah. Like, no, you're gonna need to put more effort into that before you can compete. So, and it takes a while for people to even understand how detailed and how much effort goes into that, right? So, it may take 2 years before we can even get to choose a show. I'm not just going to push someone on stage because they lost 20 pounds or they lost a little bit of body fat and, they're not even close to being competitive. So my goal as a coach, as it should be for everybody, is to get them at their best possible at that point in time with, the best ideal package that we can get to, right. Say if some people come to me that are already well-trained. So yeah, if their health markers are good and if their habits are good, then yeah, we can jump into a prep. Otherwise, we need to take plenty of steps back and start from nothing to get to something.
Yeah, that's interesting because, sometimes people will ask me things like, like, how do I, show me how to do, a particular lift. And to me, because I've been doing it for a while, I don't understand the question because I'm like, well, what do you mean? You don't
know how to do that.
You're just, yeah, it's like, it seems so simple, right? But it's like, yes. But then I forget that, there was a time where I also didn't know how to lift right, and so I completely understand where you're coming from, where people come to you and they say, hey, how do I even begin? Like where, you started from scratch essentially. So how would you describe, as far as the pandemic is concerned, did you take a big hit with regard to that, as far as your training and all that, or is it, it kind of didn't affect you as much?
It didn't really affect me as much, for the fact that, well, first off, I was in a commercial space that I was renting. So at that point, around August, I was able to completely refinish and redo a part of my house. So I just brought everything back into my house, basically my basement, and I turned into, a separate walk-in area and stuff. So I was having a handful of ladies that were, can I still come train? And I'm like, okay, we can do this. But, we're keeping distance, 6 feet apart kind of thing. But sure. I just had maybe 3 people that have been training for a while. And, I still have those 3 people. So no, did I take a hit? No, not really. And then I did have people online that were wanting me to coach them. So what am I going to do now? So I did set up a lot of online at-home workouts kind of thing. So, I was pretty busy. Did I have more time on my hands? Yeah, which I actually took time to get, those certifications and things. So I wouldn't say that it was terrible as far as, financially kind of thing. I was still able to help people out even from home.
Right. It sounds like you even took advantage of the time, like you said, get more certifications, kind of build up that whole, I don't know what I'm trying to say. It's like just kind of develop yourself a little more so you have more to offer to your clients. So what I've noticed is with a lot of people that I've spoken to is their businesses, their online, specifically their online coaching has really picked up, because that seems to be like, the wave of the future, it's people kind of been doing it a little bit, but I think the pandemic kind of pushed everybody to that, even more so. So yeah, for sure. So how many, like comparatively, like how many people do you coach that are competitive as opposed to like lifestyle?
I think I have a pretty good mix. I definitely, right now I'm having a lot of lifestyle people just because I'm trying to, reach more people, more people that are needing services. Mm-hmm. So there's that niche of competitors, but it's not 100% of my priority at this point. Right. I'm actually switching into working on developing an app and switching my online platform to something a little bit more broad that I can offer more. Yeah. So I'll have the option of, contest prep, but right now at this moment, I'm kind of focusing on just reaching a much broader audience that are looking into, improving health, even learning how to lift. If I can set something up where even I can reach people that way and teach them how to do things correctly, even online. So that's kind of what I'm working on, setting this app and this new other program that I'm hopefully it'll launch late January.
That's awesome. That's a great, big endeavor to create an app,
Thanks, I'm excited.
Yeah, that's super exciting. I talked to on my show, I had a physician on, and we were discussing how, like, initially I thought the pandemic would move people to be more healthy, right? Because I saw more people outside and stuff. He said that statistically speaking, it's actually gotten worse. People are more, more inclined to sit and do nothing, more inclined to eat terribly. So that lifestyle portion is becoming huge now, even more so than, your prep, people that you prep for shows and stuff like that. So yeah, it's really interesting.
That's really sad, because with all things now that are happening, you would think that at least people that are trying to do the research on how do I stay safe, the number one thing should be, I probably should get healthier. I should probably lose body fat and improve my eating habits. And that way, if I were to get, COVID, I hopefully, I'll be safer. I'll be more likely to survive if I'm in a good place, health-wise. So that is insane that things are moving the opposite direction. It's wild.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, I'm definitely, I'm not the kind of person that I'm necessarily against any kind of medical interventions, but I do think that you should cover your basics, for sure first, and I think a lot of people are missing that portion of it. They don't want to worry about the basics, they jump straight to, medical interventions. So, and I think that you would have less, times where you need to do that if you were healthier on the front end, so it feels like it's a losing battle in a society type of way, but at least you can touch an individual, one person at a time, and which just seems like what you're doing. Did you go ahead? I'm sorry.
No, well, I was just gonna say, comparatively, I was speaking to someone the other day. They were telling me how this family, they did have the shot, but they got ill. They got COVID. Mm-hmm. So, part tells you, where's their immune system? Because at my home, we all had the shot, but we're all pretty healthy. So nobody's gotten COVID. And I've been in the gym this whole time. So, I think there is that variable of taking care of yourself from the get-go and improving your immune system. Mm-hmm. I think there's
something to that. Yeah.
I believe there's validity to it. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, definitely there's something to that, because and I'm no doctor by any means, so I don't want to portray that, but just from what I've been hearing and what I've been seeing and just kind of what I've been reading, majority of the people that get the terrible results from from COVID are immunocompromised, whether that means that you have some kind of disease already that you're immunocompromised, or that you're just not taking care of yourself. And because of that, one thing that was so simple that a lot of people don't do, which of course, like I'm kind of in that sphere of people as well, unfortunately, but sleeping, like some people just don't sleep enough. And that can really like hurt your immune system.
Number one thing, if you're not sleeping, you're not recovering, your health is not optimal.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I agree.
Absolutely. So I was going to ask you, how did you get involved in training and nutrition and all that? I mean, was this something that you've like always had a passion for all your life, or did something happen to push you towards that direction?
I've always been interested in it. And I recall when I was in college, when women's competitions was just starting out, like initially figure for the first time ever in the 90s. I'm like, man, I really want to do a competition. But I remember being always so stressed with college and just working and just trying to survive. I'm like, I know that it's going to require a lot out of me, so I'm not in a position to do it. So, eventually down the road, I mean, I was certified as a trainer when I was like 20, 22 or something. Now I'm 45, so I'm like super old. So I kept with my certifications, and then eventually down the road, I got married. I got to a place where I was a little bit more stable. And then I did my first competition in 2007. So, and then I got pregnant, and I had my son the following year in 2008. And after I had my son, I mean, I gained like close to 80 pounds with my pregnancy because I was doing not much of anything. So I was like, I'm pregnant, so I can probably eat, right? So after I had my son, I had a C-section, but within 4 months, I was back to my pre-pregnancy weight. Mm-hmm. So I was already pre-trained. I guess my body was already kind of in shape to get things back to where they were. So after that, I decided to start with personal training, and it just started to pick up. Then I started to coach some people around for competitions and things. I didn't know much about what I was doing, but I'm like, hey, at that point in time, I guess there wasn't much information on contest prep or anything. The person that even did my prep, it was all over the place. So I think it's great now that we have so much more information, and there's actually research going on to have like data and more educated decisions that we can make as far as contest prep and health and all that. But that's how things picked up. And then I continued with training, and then I had a lot of girls training and getting ready for shows. So yeah, I mean, I told them, look, this is how it's done. If you really put the effort and consistency, you can get to where you want to be. I gained this much weight with my pregnancy, but I was able to get it off. And after that, I did not lift throughout my pregnancy. So I recall going back to the gym. I was so weak. So I'm like, I am never, ever going to stop lifting. And ever since, my son is now 13, I haven't stopped lifting, and I've continued with my habits and, the healthy lifestyle. So I think people have picked up that I'm always staying on track. So I do have people that come to me, hey, I need some help. So yeah, I've been just on it since.
Yeah. So what I'm kind of curious, you said you did a competition. What was it in? What did you compete in? What division?
My first one, that was in 2007, and I did figure because that was all there was back then. I think there was women's bodybuilding, obviously, and figure. That was it. So that was when they had the 2-piece suits, the 2 options of suits. Like you had the bikini and then the 1-piece suit. So ever since, obviously, 2008, I didn't compete. But after 2009, after I had my son, I did another figure show, and I got first place. And then I didn't stop competing for about 11 years.
So all of your competitions were in figure?
Yes, I remember, well, in 2010, when bikini first came out, I did bikini, and they told me at that point in time that I was too muscular for it, because there was really no standard for it, I suppose. Can you see me okay?
Yeah, I can see you just fine.
Okay, you're getting kind of blurry.
I did. I'm sorry. Yeah,
fine.
I see that. Okay, better now.
I did bikini the one time, and then I just stuck to figure since, and that's really all I've competed in. Now I'm hoping to transition into wellness, just because it's different, and I kind of got got into a rut. Like, I don't want to compete anymore at 2018 after my last show. So I'm kind of getting the itch again, but we'll see.
And what do you think? I was gonna, talk to you about this. It's a perfect transition to it. What do you think about like all the divisions being added, to bodybuilding? Like, there's kind of like two views, right? Like, there's one that says, well, that's good, grows the sport, makes it better. Other people say, well, it dilutes the talent a little bit. Like, what do you think as far as that's concerned? I'm gonna mess with my camera just for a second, but go ahead and answer that for me.
Oh, you're okay. I think it's great. If it is a sport, and I think everybody should take it seriously and respect it as a sport. As I mentioned earlier, just because you lost some weight, don't just get on stage just for the hell of it. Just, like, get in the best top shape that you can potentially get to. I think it's fine that there are more divisions. I think it's great, and keeps the sport alive. And there's more people involved. The more people that we can get to, I think it's ideal. I have a problem at all with it. I think bikini, it's a great platform for girls who cannot build a ton of muscle, because not a lot of people's genetics are just, obviously not everybody's genetics are the same. Some people can put on a lot of muscle just from breathing, while people just don't. Right. And to be competitive, it's just something great. It's nothing wrong or bad about it.
Well, and I was also thinking from the standpoint that it brings not just more athletes in the sport, but also brings more interest, like eyeballs, to the sport. Now you have the Rock got involved too, like in a couple of Olympias, and now he has his own show, like I believe, right? That just happened not that long ago. So it's becoming like, I wouldn't necessarily call it mainstream, but it's like definitely better than it was. And I believe it's because it added more divisions where regular people could look at somebody and say, that's the way I want to look like, as opposed to when you just have, women's bodybuilding or just have male bodybuilding, and those guys and girls are extremely muscular. And most people, that doesn't appeal to them, like in the sense that that's the way I want to look like, so I believe that's probably like was a huge benefit, of the multiple divisions.
It's closer to mainstream as it can possibly get. So I think it's great. I think the more awareness, the better.
Yeah, for sure. So, I've been talking to people about like more recent events. We've had, but it seems like this year and since the pandemic, really, which is strange, but I don't think all of it is all the things that we've seen can be attributed to the pandemic. But I just think during this time period, we had so many people pass away, and, brought kind of a light to competitions and bodybuilding. Obviously, there's a portion of it that's like the supplementation that people always point to with anabolics and whatnot. Other people say maybe it's like the weight. Some of these, like Sean Roden passed away. A lot of people are talking about how like the size of some of these competitors, they're so large for so long that eventually it like wears on your body. Like, do you have any like views on that? I know mostly you coach women, and that could apply to women as well, depending on, on what's going on. Do you have any like opinions about that?
Yeah. There's been deaths in both men and women. I think bodybuilding is a sport of extremes, obviously, and very extreme. Obviously, the higher you are in that ladder, the pro level is going to be as extreme as it gets. You can push your body so much until it says no more. Your heart is only going to do so much, right? So, however, that's all good. Do all the extreme you want, but at the end of the day, it's, do you want to live or not? So it really is the athlete's responsibility in staying on top of things. Just because somebody told me to do something, I'm not going to blindly do that. I'm going to do my research and get some blood work done and make sure that I'm in the best possible place health-wise to optimally get to, on stage. I think things can be prevented, and things could have been prevented, and maybe not, maybe yes, maybe not. I don't know exactly the details on each individual, but what I know, what I do on my part, even though I'm not dealing with, the elite cream of the crop bodybuilding Olympia people, but that's the first thing I do with clients, competitive and non-competitive. We're going to do blood work first. We're going to see where your health markers are. if things are not where they need to be, we need to optimize that before your body can actually even respond to anything. So if you get to that position or that place, people should be staying on top of blood work and, you know, see where your heart is, see where are your organs even still the same size, you know?
Yeah.
So then it's hard. It's hard to even go there. Like,
the heart, it seems like it's that organ that always gets always seems to get you. I mean, my wife is in nursing school, and like one of the things that, you know, we like, as she's learning these things, I like overhear stuff, and I think most people know this probably, but like heart issues, heart disease is like the leading cause of death for like people who are in fitness or not. So it's like, it's one of those things that's so important that you get everything like checked and make sure that if you see any outliers that you address them. I mean, the blood work is not necessarily going to tell you like exactly where your health lies, but it gives you indications of like, if there's something wrong, maybe you need to look into this, you know? So if you're seeing, you know, if you're seeing like cholesterol levels, high cholesterol level, or whatever, I mean, I'm not a doctor, I'm not going to go into that, but but you know, it points you to the right direction. And it's like, that it's so important, right?
I agree. There's some indicators. If your cholesterol's been high for this long, there could be plaque. Maybe you should go to the right doctor and get that looked at before you even push more of whatever that you've been doing that got you there in the first place.
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, that's just me.
Yeah. They were talking about, I don't know if you're aware who Dave Palumbo is, but he on his shows, that like the running theme, you know, after Sean Roden's death was, do we need like a mandated IFBB Pro like health check before you get your pro card every year? Like, what are your thoughts about that? I know we talked about individuals being responsible, right? What about like the IFBB or any competitive organization requiring something like that? Do you think it's a good idea? It's not. What are your thoughts?
I mean, we're dealing with adults here, right? It really is everybody's responsibility and what your priorities are. I mean, if they want to implement something like that, it's just another hoop. It's fine, but it's not that it's going to be a negative, but we are dealing with adults. Like, be accountable and do what you're supposed to do if you want to save your life or if you want to be there for your kids eventually.
Right.
Especially now with this new knowledge and new experiences of we're seeing all these deaths, I think people will be a little bit more aware and more responsible about taking care of themselves. Yeah. I mean, it's really up to you at the end of the day. So it's not the IFBB's responsibility to be saving people.
Right.
Each individual should be taking care of your own body.
Yeah.
You know, that there's no way that they can control that, you know. Well, if you don't have your test, we're not going to let you in. Like, right.
Well, I like how you said that it's another hoop to jump through, because that's essentially, I feel like that's what this is going to be. Because, I mean, how comprehensive is, like, if you, let's say the IBB decides to do this, like, how comprehensive are these tests going to be? Like, once a year? They're not really going to show you anything like legitimate once a year, unless you're acutely like having a crisis at that moment, you know? So it's like, so I feel like it's, you know, like you said, just another hoop that people will have to jump through. That's not really beneficial, like, in reality, you know, because if a person doesn't want to follow up, then what can you do? Right.
Sounds a bit redundant and a little, it's kind of silly, honestly.
Yeah. Bodybuilding is a very niche community and niche sport. It's things that we deal with that like other athletics don't really, you know, deal with as much. There's, you know, it's one of those things. It's almost like a I don't want to say outsider sport, but it kind of like is. You're in this club, you're in this, like, you know, so there's like a coolness to it, but at the same time, sometimes that this is what you deal with too, when, you know,
kind of on your own.
right.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But anyways, so do you like what future plans or endeavors do you have, like, at this moment? Do you have anything like you can kind of talk about? Do you have more clients, more openings? Are you going to compete again? Like anything else?
Yeah. So I'm actually, in my mind, I'm going to compete maybe at the end of next year. So when I was training for figure, you know, you want that symmetry top and bottom, right? But right now, since I am hoping to transition into wellness, I need to bring my legs up, which is kind of counterintuitive there based on what I've done in the past.
Right.
Slow down on training upper body and just more focus on, you know, growing my quads and glutes and hamstrings. So if I can get to a place where I am happy with the amount of muscle I carry in my legs, then that's the goal, to do a show, a competition in wellness. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm dealing with a couple of injuries that I've never experienced before because I'm so focused on training legs that there you go. Like first time, I can't say that I've had a super major injury, but now I'm kind of being into the overtrained side, which is silly. Yeah. So I need to take a couple steps back and quit being so excited and do things right.
Yeah.
But so it might push this show that I want to do till, I don't know, later next year or the following year. And take my time just growing my legs. But, you know, that's like kind of a long-term thing that gets me excited and, you know, staying still in the bodybuilding realm. But as far as clients, yeah, I'm not taking any in-person one-on-one clients at the time in my studio because I'm pretty booked. And I'm trying to focus again on just this online transition that I'm doing into getting more people involved with my new platform and the new app, that I can reach more people around the world and help them that way. So that's kind of like my next move business-wise. And, you know, just continue to grow my following.
Yeah. Awesome. Hey, I mean, it sounds like you're doing a lot right there. You know, it's, hey, anytime that you can't, from a business standpoint, that you can't take any clients because you're so booked is a good, you know, it's a good thing, you know, so.
It is. And then I'm overwhelmed and I'm stressed out. I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, so it is what it is. You have to kind of put a lot of work from the front end, and then hopefully things will,
right.
I don't think slow down.
No, but probably not. Probably not.
So yeah, taking it day by day here.
I was going to ask you also, so since you're going to be competing in wellness, you know, your first time, did you get a chance to catch the Olympia wellness? What did you think about the results? I believe Franciella won the whole thing, and then. So, like, did you agree with them? Did you think somebody else should have placed higher, anything like that?
No, I think ever since I've seen her competing, even before she was on the IFBB, I mean, I was like, that girl's going to be, if there's an Olympia wellness, that's going to be it. I love her look. I mean, she's gorgeous. I mean, her glutes and her physique and her presentation are on point. I mean, it's great. It definitely separates wellness from all the other divisions.
Yeah.
It makes it very clear what is wanted from that look. So
yeah,
I think it was great. I think it was really fair.
Yeah, I thought I had the same feeling as you when I saw her win the Arnold, I believe. I think Issa got if I'm pronouncing her name correctly, second, and then Franciella won a year ago or a couple of years ago, whatever it was. So at that point, this past year. Yeah. So at that point I was like, well, you know, this is probably going to be the Olympia champ unless something crazy happens. Right. The only person I was a little shocked by placing was Yarishna, which I think she got like fourth. I would have thought they would have placed her higher, but you know, it was the first Olympia. There's a lot of, you know, variables.
I think she's looked better on stage before. I mean, I was kind of surprised how she looked for pre-judging, honestly. Yeah. Her choice of suit, like what, kind of like rule number one, don't wear yellow or white or pale colors on stage. It just doesn't look well. It doesn't present well on stage. You notice that for finals, she switched to that royal blue. Yeah. And she looked so much better. Yeah. And it could have been a matter of, I don't know, fluke. Maybe she was holding a little bit of water for prejudging. Sure. It wasn't as sharp as the top three. You know, those girls were just sharp and crispy, and just conditioning was good. So, I mean, she's great. I love Eurovision. I just think she has an amazing look. And, you know, if she can like polish things up a little bit, she could be the next year's Olympia for a while.
It's possible that it was a matter of like the last like week or whatever, that maybe there were some things that didn't go well, you know. Overall, I mean, she's holding enough muscle, she's got the shape, so so it might have been like the, you know, like you said, the water manipulation, the, you know, didn't go well, you know, so something like that to that effect.
That's all it takes. The last 10 hours, you know, if that's not done correctly, then that's what happened.
So I'm noticing, you know, an accent as well. Where are you originally from, if you don't mind me asking?
No, I'm originally from El Salvador. I was born in El Salvador and moved here when I was 17.
Okay, yeah. So at 17, you keep your accent. Yeah, I was born in Russia, but I moved here when I was 9. So my accent is basically non-existent.
It's gone.
It's gone completely. Yeah.
So did you continue speaking Russian? Are you still fluent in Russian?
Yes, I am. But I've been here for so long, and majority of my speaking is done in English, of course, for many, many years, outside of just a few people that I talk to in Russian. It's there's times where it's like, I'll mix Russian and English together, or I'll forget.
I still do that too.
Yeah. So it's one of those things, you know, so.
It is kind of funky how your brain kind of just, I was telling a friend yesterday, he was telling me, well, are you going to just, you know, focus on just the Spanish, you know, niche? Mm-hmm. And like, you know, I really want to, but honestly, at this point, everything that I learned in fitness and everything was in English. Right. So a lot of the terminology and stuff, like I have to go and just learn all these things now, because everything that I know how to explain is in English. And I try to explain things in Spanish, and I'm like, I feel so retarded. I swear I speak Spanish, I just don't know how to say these things anymore.
It makes a difference, because it's like, if you're like you said, if you're in a particular field, and like in your case, it's fitness, and you learn that field in this language, it's like, it's hard for you to, like, in your native language, to be able to like explain these things. Like, same thing for me. It's like, I can speak about fitness in English forever, but then if I start using Russian terms, it's like, okay, well, how do you say like bicep curl? I don't know, because I never learned bicep curl in Russian, you know, I learned it in English. So it's like, yeah, it gets interesting. So
it is pretty, and I never really thought about it as much until I believe I tried to explain something to someone. I'm like, what happened? I really need to get, so that's another one of my
goals,
projects.
Yeah, there you go. Well, to round out the episode, I had a great time. But just to plug your information, and I will go ahead and like add hyperlinks and everything at the bottom of this video to make people make it easy for people to be able to reach out to you. But like, do you want to plug anything as far as like, you know, your social media, like websites, anything like that?
Yeah, I appreciate it. My website, which I have to review again because my original one got hacked. It's LauraMarencoFitness.com. And I am on Instagram, and my handle is LMF Fitness. So if you can just put it down there.
Yeah, I will. They'll be all at the bottom. And guys, if you have any like questions about training, you want to hire Laura, just reach out to her through the outlets that I'm going to notate at the bottom of the video. And thank you again, Laura, for your time. I greatly appreciate it.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Have a great rest of the day.
Bye. You too. Thanks.